Just to let you know, this podcast may contain some offensive/explicit language. If you don't like that type of stuff, then you simply don't have to listen. But we've given you your warning. Hope you enjoy. Hello, Dan. Welcome back to our fantastic podcast studio for no less than episode 5 of season 3. If I'm not mistaken, I always feel like I get it wrong, but I think this is number 5.
Yep, it is.
How you been?
Yeah, all right, mate. What have we got in store this week?
God, what haven't we got in store this week?
You don't know, do you?
No, I've got some notes with me this time. Just, guide me through, make sure I don't get lost on the topics we've discussed.
Yeah, we've got a bit to go through. Yeah, I've been all right, mate. Again, it feels like really yesterday we last recorded one, and not a lot has gone down. I've not really been fishing. A couple of overnighters. Sorry to use that phrase. I know, quick overnighters. But yeah, not done a lot. I'm in that phase where I actually did it at the weekend after being away in France for 2 weeks. I'd cobbled my UK kit back together, done a night, was missing loads of stuff. And so I had my big sort out at the weekend of cleared my garage out, sorted all my stuff out, basically packed all my French trip stuff away properly. So now I'm a lot more ready to go fishing. And it's like we were saying with Tommy, that stops me a lot. Because I need to get home from work and just be able to grab my stuff and go. And if it's not ready, I don't go. Or I'll potter around a little bit and I won't get everything ready. So everything's militant ready again now. So I'm going tonight.
That genuinely makes a difference as well. I know we've mentioned it before because I'm in exactly the same boat. Obviously, last podcast, we'd both done so much in terms of fishing. We'd been here, there and everywhere. But I had a wedding, a broad wedding. So I've come back, my stuff is everywhere. And that's exactly the reason why, at the moment, I feel like I need that 2 hours after work, once everyone leaves and buggers off, to just reset. Yeah. I need that van out and then everything back in, because I don't need H-block markers anymore. I don't need an outboard. Yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. It does make a big difference. But you're going tonight? Yeah,
I'll go for an overnight tonight.
Yep. Usual. Down the old Syndicate. Call it Syndicate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's thrown up so many good... the other lake... So I'm fishing Longreach. It's on the St Ives complex. I'm fishing Longreach. The other lake, Meadow, which is Meadow, fjords, little fjords, some other lakes. They're all attached. Oh my God, it's thrown up so many ridiculous fish. I showed you that one this morning. That was out there. Just 36 pounds.
Yeah, that was mental.
That is the target fish in a lot of waters. That's just, I don't think anyone knew it. It's just 36 pounder. Just one of a couple hundred fish in there. Maybe a few more. I saw another one at the weekend where I'd send it to my mate going, what's this? He's like, never seen it. They're all, they're not unknowns. They were stocked not long ago, but it's just, that will definitely be one which is a super water in 5 years' time.
Why?
It is now, but,
Why are you not on there at the moment?
I might do it next year after, but I can't spread myself too thin. Great. I've got a ticket with options, but I can just concentrate on one at a time.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because was it not a bit of you? Is it the style of fishing that's not a bit of you?
To be honest, there's some ridiculous fishing there, really, really nice ones, but the ones in the lake I'm fishing I prefer. And there's loads of great fish in Meadow, but there's a lot where I'll be like, oh cool, nice carp, big carp, but not really fire me up. But the lake is ridiculous. It's so good. It's islands, and it's very purposefully unkept, wild. It's a classic wild big pit. There's spits and arms and islands and bays, and you get lost. It's just which I really, really love. So I think maybe after I'm done where I am, I'll have a little go on there. But
10 years at best,
20 maybe, something like that. But yeah, I got options.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
You not going fishing?
No, I will be. When you invest a lot of money in a syndicate,
I was going to say,
you have to go. But it was sort of when I was away, it was closed for spawning. It opened back up on June the 16th, funnily enough. I know we'll speak a little bit more about the rivers and things June the 16th later on in this. But opened back up again. I haven't really kept too much into it because I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. And at the same time, I don't want to know if not much is happening. I'm very much of, I've got to go when I go. So I don't care if it's fishing well or if it's struggling. But the couple of bits I've seen, I think the weeds come up. So where I had the winter ticket, and you're allowed rowing boats on there.
So good.
Which is really good. Don't get me wrong, it's 11 acres.
Just fun though, isn't it?
It's just fun, like especially after being in France. So I might have to steal that scope boat that we have knocking around there, just to use, just because like I say, you know what it's like in boats. You can really lose your bearings as soon as you're out there, and some of the swims are quite close together. So I don't want to be like
drifting over someone else's swim
spot. But at the same time, 20, 30 yards out, if the weed is well up and you're looking at finding holes in the weed from a boat and dropping little parts, I mean, it's just good fun and something you don't get to do in the UK a lot. So whether I will, I don't know. I haven't been down there again, because of filming and everything like that. I haven't been down there since April. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting down there. And back in its day, it was good for a little bit of surface fishing. So that'll be another interesting one. It is quite open, so the wind, you get a lot of wind on there, but it's very much loads of floaters and spodding over depth zigs. So and the weather we've had at the minute, it's been bloody lovely. Yeah.
I was going to say, so one of our first podcasts, we talked about the cost of a ticket, and you finally got this ticket and you spent a ridiculous amount, in my eyes, a ridiculous amount of money on it, but you're struggling a little bit, aren't you?
You say struggling, what, as in getting on? Just getting on.
You said it's booked up, you can't even go.
At the weekend, sometimes it can get booked up, yeah. So I'm fortunate enough, I have too many other hobbies to go at the weekends.
Yeah, this is, and it comes back to that first conversation of like how much you willing to spend, and you spent that much.
Yeah, I've mucked up in terms of like I've spent a lot of money on that ticket. Don't get me wrong, I love my fishing, and at the time I'm very impulsive. If I feel like doing something, I was like, yeah, that's loads of big carp.
I was taking the mick out of you because for the last 4 weeks now, but 3 weeks in a row, I spoke to you at the end of that week, and you went, "It's the best week I've ever had in my life." And then, that was when you went to Pascal's Lake. You were like, "It's actually the best week I've ever had in my whole life." Then you went fishing with Phil for a week, and you come back and went, "It's honestly the best week I've ever had in my life." And then you went to your sister's wedding in Portugal, and it was a big 1 week piss up. Basically, I went, "How was it?" And you went, "Best week of my life." So whatever you're doing, you're like puppy dog. Whatever you're doing is just like the best thing ever. So if you haven't been fishing, you've been golfing, and that it's just like the best thing in your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
You need to go fishing, Alf.
Yeah, no, I do. I absolutely do. But catching up on work, but we'll get that sorted. We'll get the kit sorted out, and then, we'll get back down there. Because, the fish again are just like crazy good. But news-wise, funnily enough, because I like it when you go on holiday and it's shit at home, the weather. You know, so like when you're taking off in like the worst weather ever and you land and you're just in luxurious sunshine.
Well, and all them mugs back home.
I know, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, he's such a nice person.
It's just, feel a bit smug. But bitter. And then this morning, because since I've been back, it's just been heat wave. And then thunderstorm this morning. Yeah. On the way to work, I was thinking, I literally haven't seen a bit of rain in God knows since when. And that reminded me of something. I was thinking, I know what we can talk about in this podcast. Poor old Steve got struck by lightning.
Stuck by lightning.
He got struck by lightning. Got struck by lightning.
So
Steve? See this on the Angling Times actually.
Oh, I thought you knew that. You were like, "Oh, Steve."
No, I know he's called Steve. The guy called Steve. So I see it pop up on social media, and then obviously Angling Times covered it. So got the information from there. But yeah, thunderstorms. And funnily enough, we had one out in when we were at France at Pascal's Lake. But it was the sky just all of a sudden went dark and then just bang, like literally it must have been so close, because you know when you count from the lightning to the thunder, you couldn't have counted in between it was literally the noise and the lightning at the same time, really close. It felt dangerous. Excuse me. And then I see this story pop up on social media, and I've read about it on the Angling Times. He's lucky to be alive. From what have you seen the photo? No. So we'll get it overlaid on this tone, the image. The man is bruised and burnt to bits, and he was fishing. So again,
holding a rod.
So what happened is it was steak night, and again that would have been best night ever if you'd asked me, if I was there at the time. So they've all gone up and had a bit of grub, come back down. He's got his rods back out, and apparently he was holding his rod and sinking the line whilst holding his rod. And then he's either been struck by lightning directly, or the tree next to him, which has just been blown into a million pieces, and it's conducted through the rod, etc. So, but absolutely that he has been electrocuted.
Oh my God! I thought you couldn't survive. I thought you got hit by lightning. That's it. You're done. you're toast.
Yeah, but Steve's made of harder stuff because he's he's all right. But I say he's all right. He don't look all right. But he's not dead, which is the main thing.
It's all right.
But he's, according to the Angling Times, he doesn't really remember much. But as soon as it happened, I think he's fallen, so like unconscious when the lightning's hit, broke his ribs from falling onto his buzz bars.
Right.
So his ribs are broken, and then you just look at the side of him, it looks like he's just black and blue.
Oh, bless him.
So when you see all this sort of cliche, don't hold a fishing rod in a lightning storm, and you get the warnings on the rods and things like that, sometimes you just think that, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
But that's actually the second, not hearing someone get struck by lightning, but it brings back another memory. During the BYCACs, so the British Young Carp Angling Championships, what am I now, 31, so that would have been when I was 17, so a long time ago. Again, so you got 32 lads fishing Brasenose 1 at the time, all like rods out, and that thunderstorm rolled over, and I think I don't think it was any lads fishing the competition, but the rods, and if anyone's listening to this, I don't know, might have photos or have heard of this, but were lent up against the van. So just 3 rods lent up, and they'd just been fused into one where they'd been struck by lightning. So it was just like 3 butt sections and 1 tip section when they'd just been fused into one.
Oh my God, it's scary, isn't it?
So when you think about it, and like if you're out in a boat as well, because my worst nightmare would be you've got a mad storm rolling in, and you're like flat, calm water, and you're the only point of, do you know what I mean? With lightning, to meet the ground easier, you're almost like that fishing rod becomes more of an object that can be struck when you just
like you say, you just don't really think. I've been in big thunderstorms and that, and you think, well, my rod's out there. If I did get a bite, I'd just hold it down. I wouldn't have it up in the air, and I'll be all right. But it probably wouldn't be. It'd be silly. So
no. So yeah, that was sort of the breaking bit of news.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I hope you're all right.
Yeah.
We wish you a quick recovery. When was this?
I don't think it was that long. A couple of weeks ago, tops. Again, out in France, and that was the only bit of thunder and lightning that whole day.
Really?
So out of nowhere, clouds rolled over, bang, bit of lightning, storm disappeared. There wasn't any other bits, and I mean, because I think I read somewhere that you're more likely to be struck by lightning twice than win the Euro Millions. So Steve only needs to get struck one more time,
and then he's a millionaire.
And then he's a millionaire. Yeah,
is that how it works?
I think so.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, nice. Bless him. Bless him. Yeah, I don't have any news. Nothing's really been gone. I've had some stories sent in. We've got some Agony Alf, which I'll do in a bit, but I have had a very good, just a story and some questions. I don't know if we'll go into the questions, but do you want to hear my story?
Absolutely.
Where is it? It's here. This is it. This is the story of Big Granger.
Big Granger.
Yeah.
Hermione Granger.
Hi, Dan and Alfie. I have a wonderfully heartwarming story to tell you and the listeners of the podcast. It involves the discovery and rehoming of a now much loved and cherished member of our fishing and friendship group. Back in 2014, my brother and his colleagues were undertaking a fish survey on a London park lake. It works for the EA. It started out as any other day would when undertaking a netting. The nets were loaded, trailers were hitched, tanks were filled, and the dry suits were fitted. The day's work had begun. Setting the scene, a cold winter's day in London, all manner of characters, walking dogs, jogging, cycling to work, the hustle and bustle of the big smoke, contrasted by the serene nature of a strategically planned netting at one with nature. By the second sweep of the lake, they'd all but removed the fish that they needed to, and it was up to one last sweep to meet the numbers they planned for. Netting number 3 had started out as all the others had. The floats were in, and all that was left was the lead lines now. As the water increased in turbidity, is that word? Tone? Turbidity? Is that word?
Don't ask me, dyslexic.
Oh, yeah, dyslexic.
That's ironic.
As the water increased in turbidity from the thrashing of silverfish and the wallowing of carp, it was clear that there was something lurking below at the bottom of the net. A dark, black, muddied shadow. It caught my brother's eye. Intrigued by the presence of a foreign object, he plunged his hands below the surface to abstract what can only be described as a magnificent specimen of marital aid. A 28-pound, veiny, solid, 2-foot-long rubber phallus.
28 pounds.
28 pounds. Of course, as any respectable human being would, he cleaned it up, took it home and gave it a name. The legend of Big Granger was born. I love how he said, as any respectable human being would, he took it home and cleaned it up like a lost stray dog or something. He had mentioned that the netting jobs in London often resulted in much smaller versions of Big Granger, but this specimen was one of a kind. He searched high and low on the internet to find something that even slightly resembled Big Granger, but it became quickly apparent that there definitely wasn't a factory in China pumping out thousands of these things. He was, in fact, a very bespoke piece. He searched for the story behind this magnificent specimen. How did something so heavy end up in a lake with no vehicle access? The mystery remains to this day. In the following years, Big Granger became a part of the crew, attending birthday socials, summer barbecues, and Christmas get-togethers down the club lake. He was treated like one of the boys. Big Granger went on missions to raves in Brighton and was even seen being photographed in the cockpit of a plane. We felt that being submerged for so many years below the depths of a London park lake, he deserved to be loved and cherished for his remaining time on this earth. In 2018, it was in 2018 that Big Granger was borrowed by a friend to attend an event, and he tragically never returned. We still don't know what happened that night, but he has not been seen or heard from since to this day. It's safe to say that Big Granger had become somewhat of a folklore character amongst locals and anyone that fished with us. I'd like to believe that he's out there somewhere bringing the same amount of joy to another family as he did to ours.
I just want to...
We've got a couple of photos to overlay as well of Big Granger.
Big Granger.
So while they're being overlaid, so people can see, this is Big Granger in the cockpit.
Oh, that is not... That's just obscene.
And this is Big Granger on the day of discovery.
Who is... That is not normal.
That's Big Granger.
That is.
But I also know who sent me that in, and I've heard the legend of Big Granger, and I actually said you have to send me the legend of Big Granger, and he told me stories of sat round on a social, 6, 8 of them, all their chairs in a semicircle, all drinking a beer, rods are out, a barbecue on, and like the bailiff or the lake owner would come by to make sure they're all right. Oh, mate, you're right. And round the semicircle, everyone would have a chair, including Big Granger. They'd bring a chair for Big Granger. He was part of the crew. And this guy turned up and looked at 6 lads, smiled, cheersed him, and he just saw this massive 28-pound black rubber dildo just sat on a chair enjoying the social.
£28 that is some weight.
Yeah. So I thought that was a very funny story. Thanks Lou for sending it in, and thanks Lou's brother for providing the story.
Providing the foot saying looking after her or him.
And that, of course, yeah. If anybody's seen or heard of Big Granger going forward, please
that's not
return him home.
That's not one you can miss.
Yeah. So that's my little story I had. That's my contribution. For now.
I know, when you like unexpected, like, because you find stuff like that in canals and things like that, but that could hurt someone.
Well, yeah, what if you chucked at him?
Yeah, that is. Oh, that. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else weird that I've ever found or seen in a lake, but I don't really think so.
No, it only ever comes back to the old where we fished in Belgium that time with a mobile brothel behind us.
Yeah, and that story's been done before.
Yeah,
never been back since.
yeah. You're a regular now.
Love that spot.
What else has been happening on social media? Obviously, I've got a clip. Actually, one of our listeners sent in another clip for my clip of the week, which I'll get onto shortly. But something I did notice is we have to talk about. I never want to be negative about things. We're here to shine positivity and just make sure everyone's having a good time. But a lot of stick that Ollie, as in our Ollie Davis, has been getting recently on Facebook. Now, everyone knows Ollie Davis. He's a master at fishing in the edge. The old half a rap cliche, and the videos that he's done with us, he's the king, the best at it. But some of the some of the videos that you see, and a lot of these go viral on social media because they are so engaging. People, like, I really enjoy watching them. Sometimes I watch them multiple times because it's just cool. So typical little pokey holes on lakes and that, but he's been getting a lot of stick, and this is up for discussion between me and you now, really, of like, people think it's carp fishing at all costs, but you can clearly see where he's fit. So obviously there's a lot of shrubbery and bushes around where he is, and they're little pokey holes, but then in the edge, completely clear, no snags. And yeah, people just going in on him, mate. People just go.
Saying what? He's fishing in dangerous.
Carp at all costs. So they're assuming that he's fishing in the back of snags,
right.
in the back of snags to catch them.
Yeah.
But when you look at the foot, like, and I love the way Ollie's always said it, because and I remember this from a few, I can't remember the last time he did a video, but he says in his thought process, every swim gets a risk assessment.
Yeah, I always remember. He always says the risk assessment.
And I think that's a really good way to maybe advise people. Like, sometimes there are situations where it's like, should I or shouldn't I be fishing there, in the sense of, is that dangerous to the carp at the end of the day? And you have to give it a risk assessment. And I don't think there's like a step 1 to 5 as such, but it's just a case of, if you hook that carp, I suppose if you assume the worst. So what's the worst case situation? Is that you can't control it. It's going to take loads of line. How close? In my opinion, this is how I would assess a situation like that. Would be like, assume the worst, that it's going to pull your arm off, especially this time of year, post spawning. What are the chances that you are going to put that carp in danger? Would be my impression. Are there any snags close to it? Can you land the fish safely? Have you got enough room, really? And Ollie always provides his risk assessment, but you get the old trolls, the old social trolls, and it just annoyed me, because it was putting a dampener on some fishing that is, people don't do enough of it, Dan.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will see things on social media, maybe just like on face value. So they'll look at the particular shot of the alarm and the rod, and there's bushes and trees everywhere, and they'll just assume the worst, when actually, but not just assume the worst. If you assume the worst, fine, but then people who then comment shit about it when they actually don't know the full picture, because I think it could be quite easy to look at a shot like that and think, what's above the water must also be below the water, when you can't see below the water. It's clear. It may look like it's a really snag, but actually it's just how that shot's positioned or whatever. If he's allowed to fish there, it's pretty safe to fish it, or he does his risk assessment and go, yeah, this is cool. He hooks and lands the fish safely. Then why are you moaning?
And
do you know what I mean? Like, why are you moaning? You see bad ones, around, that get shared about sometimes, people like having to swim in snags and that sort of thing, but like, never from Ollie or our boys. Like, yeah, I think it's more that people are just quick to assume, quick to judge.
Dickheads.
I think, because you brought this to my attention this morning, Ollie made a really good point of like, it's a lot less dangerous than fishing over 4 weed beds at 100 yards over a gravel bar and this, that, and the other, and you having to get the fish back for all of that. Like,
100%.
A lot of his places, he's, like you say, it's all clear. He's hooking them in the edge. Maybe it's not a swim. As long as that's within the rules, you can go stalking, then what's the problem?
And it's really cool as well. Do you know what I mean? Because like, they don't look like, they're not, the reason they're little, maybe people assume that they are a little bit dangerous, is they're not wide open holes where everyone can go in. And again, this video wasn't recent. Like, the one that had been shared was from an old half rap film.
An old video.
Yeah. But the confidence in which those fish came down. So Ollie had been baiting it, obviously, but just to see it, because you cannot beat fishing visually. I speak to Al all the time. What does he love the most about fishing? It will always be sight. You know what I mean? Striking them off the top, free lining for him in the edge. He's all about finding them, and I fully understand because of the buzz side of things with regards to that. And you see these 2 carp come in, literally he's been baiting this, and the confidence in which these 2 carp literally inches from the bank come down, and then bang, and then like, that's just like, I get a buzz out of that. Yeah. I don't do it enough. I really don't do it enough. It's wicked style fishing, and it's Ollie's bread and butter. But yeah, the thing is though, everyone will always fixate on the negative comments are loudest, aren't they? Yeah. So they stick out like a sore thumb, and then that incites a response sometimes to the negative ones. But then I looked at that post, and actually there's like 100, 200 comments of
nothing but love.
Yeah.
Agreeing with Ollie. You're all right, mate. But it only takes 1 or 2 bad comments, and that's what you concentrate on. I did a bit of a post on my social media like a few weeks ago about, God, everything I was seeing in the industry at the moment was so negative. Not everything, but I don't know if I had a weekend or a week or a day where I was just like, Jesus Christ, like, fishing's meant to be good. You know, a community of like-minded people who were actually all a bit weird, because you look outside the industry looking in, or the hobby, they all think we're weird people. They all think we're weird and it's not right. And we hold fish up, and you see them on Tinder holding their carp up, and they think, I'm not going to go for him. Do you know what I mean? But then within the industry, they're all bickering and go, oh, he's done this and he's done that and he's done this and I hate him and you don't know these people. Like, stop digging people out on social media. Stop being a troll. Just enjoy your fucking life.
Yeah.
Carl's video, you know, Carl spread a great message a few weeks ago about social media and how it's ruining. And it wasn't the negative side of things. It was more like the addiction to that and being outside in nature and enjoying it. Great message to spread. Go and spread messages like that, people. Stop being a knobhead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've gone off on one here.
No.
We don't need, there's enough shit going on in the world at the moment without getting all, I'm not a political person, don't read the news or anything like that. The reason why is it's all negative and fearful and the world's ending. Just go fishing and enjoy what's your little bubble. And be blissfully unaware and just have fun.
And yeah, it is, you're right, because when you're exposed to, like, if you give the negative social media and you're exposed to it more often, of course you're not going to feel good, are you? Get out there. And sometimes I'm guilty of that in the sense of, now I live by myself in my flat. Like, if I've been in at the weekend or something, usually hungover, if I'm hungover for a day and then I work from home for 2 days, like, sometimes I think, the only time I've left my flat is to put the bins out. Do you know what I mean? You can't be doing that. You got to go and get out, and fishing is a great excuse to do that. So
even when I can't go, like, I love just in the morning, get up early, get my coffee,
walk the dogs,
even before the dogs are awake, like, or, you know, the missus up, I just go stand down the lake, have my coffee down the lake. Luckily I just can drive down there, but even if I went for a walk with a coffee in the morning, you get outside, nature, as long as it's not raining, that'd be crap. But do you know what I mean? It's just, it starts the day off right. But people are negative and I don't like it. I think it's the moral of that
is
story. The other thing with the snag fishing is, like, we're obviously a bit more exposed because we're a European company. We've got a lot of European anglers that we communicate with on a daily basis. What would be bad in Europe compared to the UK? A lot of the European anglers, if they saw what gets moaned about in the UK, they'd be like, what are you on about? What are you on about? Like, just fishing up or in weed beds. But I know a lot of the fishing there might be with a boat, so you can go and extract the carp, but it doesn't mean that it's not safe, or the carp couldn't still go for all those snags, but you just go get it out with a boat. It's, compared to what's happening in the UK, really, it's not that, but what Ollie's doing isn't bad. It's not bad. You look at Rainbow's completely and utterly accepted. That is fishing in the snags. But because you got a boat, it's all right. Ollie's not doing that.
No,
do you know what I mean?
So, like, it's different.
But if you're just living in the UK angling laws or UK outlook on it, I'm going to dig him out for that. But then it actually, I bet no one from Europe is looking at that and going, cool, he's towing the line a little bit. Nah, they're just going, nice fish, Ollie. Well done.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
River season's here.
That was a quick switch of subject.
I was just thinking.
So that's what's happened. Says something that's happened since we last did a podcast. It was June the 16th.
Yeah, and as I mentioned yesterday, coincidentally earlier, my lake opened the same day, so you got like I could see the buzz of people waiting to get back to the lake after spawning, coincidentally. And I've seen this I've never been much of a June the 16th type person. In the sense of, I used to love my river fishing for pike when I was younger, but again, it comes down to, I much prefer knowing, like, the thought of thinking that carp could be miles away, whereas in obviously a still water in a lake, you know, they've only got an X amount of water they can swim around in. It's never appealed to me as much. Not, it should do, and again, like, I'm sometimes a little bit disappointing, that I haven't pushed myself out then in that sense. But the amount of people, especially obviously a few of the guys in the office at Nash, etc., and the amount of people that I see buzzing for June the 16th on social media, I don't feel like it used to be like that 10 years ago.
Maybe not. I'm not sure. What, as in like you just see it from the industry or on your social media? People going,
from carp anglers, it's sort of just the June the 16th would just sort of tick over, and I wouldn't see as much of a buzz. Whereas now I'm seeing people on the rivers at midnight. The prep going into it before the day, and then the big day's here, and the alarm clock's going off, and you're getting down there, etc.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
it's just the circles you've looked in, because I think whoever's doing it, they feel that buzz, and that buzz is there. I had a June the 16th, 2016, where I said, right, close season, I'm going to find a bit of river, I'm going to bait it. And I remember going into that like, the buzz was massive. I think there's something so it's going to get all whimsical here, but I think it's so magical about that 16th. I think there's something incredibly alluring about June the 16th and river carp. I think maybe it resonates with me because they're rare, and I quite like that challenge, or the thought of the unknown, or you never know what's going to pop up. I like all that. And I think there's something incredibly magical about targeting river carp. And in fact, this year I've heard of quite a lot of success on rivers since the 16th. It's only the 24th now, so not even 10 days ago. But already I'm seeing reports of people catching on this season. I definitely get FOMO from it. I definitely want to do a little river campaign at some point, but with only so much limited time. And what's that noise? In my head, I thought it was rat or something running.
Yeah, I'm getting FOMO. Yeah.
No, with only so much limited time, like I said to you earlier, I've only got one leg. I can really concentrate at one time, but I'll definitely dedicate a season or a few months at some point to fishing the river and looking at 20 pounders or 25 pounders. If I was lucky, the holy grail of a 30 pounder. I'll do it at some point because it massively appeals to me. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there who've done it, like you say, so far this year, and I think that I've seen quite a few getting caught. But
UK, I was just thinking, have you ever caught yeah, because you did. I remember this must have been when I first joined. Why do I remember a story about a stake or something on this river where you'd had a peg put in or something? Was it you and Loz?
That was 2020. Me and Loz did the opening night on a river. But 4 years before, I'd done an opening night on the same stretch. You could, like, it was a really rare one. It's a bit of river, but quite a popular bit of river. A lot of match anglers and a lot of, especially the 2020 one, because you had the COVID boom. Oh my God, it was so busy. There's pegs all the way down it. And when I fished it in 2016, I'd be the only bivvy there on the opening night. But on 2016, there was like chub angler, match angler on a seat box, carp angler, like all the way down the river. And you actually only had like a small section. It ruined it a little bit, but they allowed people to put a peg in, which said this swim is reserved for June 16th to allow people to pre-bait or prepare areas, which takes a bit of the buzz out, but also puts your mind at ease if you are putting a lot of bait into an area. So yeah, I did. But yeah, when me and Loz fished it in 2020, nothing come out of that stretch. In fact, I hadn't really heard anything come out of that stretch for years until last year and this year. Not loads of fish, but I've hearing quite a lot of catch reports. So whether there's been some big floods recently and the stock levels gone up from carp in that stretch, I don't know. But yeah, it's doing some bites.
Yeah, I've never caught river carp.
You've never done a UK river carp, have you? Never been down Basin or Chelmer?
Yeah, I have, but only pike fishing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You won't catch a river carp doing that.
No, you might do. The canal counts. It's a river.
No, that's a canal.
Yeah.
But no, those ones you had from the Basingstoke in that film, again, mega.
Yeah.
Mega. There's something just particularly magical for me about catching one out of that sort of waterway, 100%.
And again, when it comes back to the not knowing, I had no idea Canal, I know it's not a river, but at the same time, similar experience. You go miles and miles down the stretch looking for these carp. They could literally be, you could see, like, especially you hear the stories of, you see a koi like at one end of the river, and then you go to the other end and it swum like 3 miles or something, the same koi. So there was that buzz, but when that obviously 30-pounder out of the canal that I just didn't know was in there, you know, like when you're catching fish that big. So yeah, he's crazy. I caught one in Slovenia.
Europe's different.
That's really hard.
Was it?
It's bears. I could have got eaten by a bear.
No, I don't think that's hard. No, I think Europe's different because they're maybe it's just more common. I think that's one of the things about, that's what I'm hearing, it's the wind. What I'm hearing, I think in Europe they're more common, and in UK a river carp is rare. A big river carp, like 20-30 pound, is so rare. I remember Nick Halier, his sticky baits film from years ago, where he caught that 50-pounder. Incredible. But a line that stuck with me was one of the 30-pounders he caught, saying this is one of the rarest creatures in the British Isles. A 30-pound river carp is so rare as an animal, which obviously it falls into the category of carp. There's millions of them in the UK, but that animal is so rare. Wild UK river carp is, and it's I think that's for me what half the allure is, and loads of other people clearly, and I think you definitely need to do it at some point.
Yeah,
I think you need to have that prep work, the lead up, the searching through May into June, leading up to that magical 16th. I know it's all a bit cliche, but it is such a buzz sat there at 10 to midnight with the phone alarm. If you put them in 10 to midnight, it doesn't matter. No one's coming round, are they? What? But you don't, because it's the 16th and you sit there and you watch the clock, and that's all part of it. And you pop a champagne bottle, or you have a little cup of tea at midnight as the rods go in. It's just fantastic.
So you wouldn't, like you say, no one's coming round. You're not flicking them in half hour early.
I think it just takes away from it.
Yeah,
it's the regime, it's the tradition, it's that's all part of it. No, I'm not. I'm sitting there. Do you know Blair went down 6? You do, because I think he's told you the story. Went down last week or whatever on the 16th to the Chelmer. Great story. Should let Blair tell it really, but I'm going to have it. Went down. He was really busy anyway, and he didn't get down there till 1:45. So by the time he's set all his rods up and he's got them out on this stretch, and he knows in this stretch there's a couple of decent carp. I think he knows of 2 30-pounders in this stretch, or he's pretty sure of. And he's got his rods out. And at this point, it's midnight. Fantastic. He's had his cup of tea and he's gone to bed, sleep. 2 hours later, 3 hours later, he's had an absolute ripper. And he's done no prep work into it. He just knows it's the 16th. It's Father's Day. I'm going for it. And he's had this ripper, and it's absolutely tanked him up the river. And it's in weed bed to weed bed. He's struggling. He's just gone, I'm going to have to get in here. He's gone in the river, as you do, as Blair does. He's got no head torch on, he said, and it's tucked him up in some of the reeds down the margin. But it is a powerful, powerful fish, especially in the flow as well. And now he can't get it any further. It's really tucked up in the reeds, and he can't see, and he needs a head torch. It's all a faff. He's soaking wet. He's let the bail arm off. He's ran back to the bank. He's got his head torch on. He's got back in. Now he can see what he's doing. It's wrapped around some reeds. He's managed to get it off. It's tanking off again. He's in contact with it. Mega fight, but he knows it's got to be one of the big ones. It's absolutely smashing him up. Nets out. Here it comes. Up it comes. It's a sturgeon. From the Little River Chelmer down in Essex. He's caught 40-pound, or he's like 39-pound, 13-ounce or something, sturgeon. And he was just like, what on earth is that? Like, no idea they were in there. Talk about a surprise popping up, or the unknown. That's the unknown.
That's mental.
And he was, obviously it's Blair, loved it, but.
Because the thing with those is as well, if they're the same as they are in still waters, in lakes, you bloody catch them 10 times in a week, the same one. So, and to not have heard of that, I mean, we got a lot of contacts, or local to the Chelmer, to not have heard of
a
40-pound sturgeon. Or nearly
Rob,
40.
who's fished around here on the rivers quite a lot, Sid said, I'd heard there was a couple. But never seen pictures of them or anything like that. People on paddleboards seeing them and that. But yeah, Blair caught this one on opening night. Obviously, it's ruined his chances of catching a carp now. But he's had his. Maybe we can get the footage off him. And
can you imagine that? Like, as someone who obviously they know that there's fish in the river, but imagine, like you said, paddleboarders, because then they're pretty scary looking things if you don't know what they are. Sturgeon, you know, they've like lived on the planet for God knows how many million years.
It's like a shark.
And like seeing a 40. Imagine just being on a paddleboard and just seeing that thing just swimming underneath you. You'd shit yourself.
Yeah. Chumming.
Yeah.
What I was going to add is I think we should do a thing where people, if you have been out on the 16th, or I know it's only 10 days into the season, but by the time this goes out, you've had a river carp so far this year, send me the picture. You can do it on my Instagram, or you can email it to podcast@nashtackle.co.uk. I'll pick the best one. It's not necessarily the biggest. I'll just pick out the best river carp, and I'll send you a prize. You need to prove some way that it is a river carp, and you've not just gone up the Syndicate and caught cluster and gone, look at this 50-pounder I had out of a river. I'm not going to believe you. I need some sort of proof, whether it's a release shot or there's the river in the background, or I'm not going to ask for pins, but if you want to give me a pin of a sick river with loads of nice carp in.
What about sturgeon? Bonus points?
Nah, fuck that. So yeah, send me in your river carp and I will pick the best one, and I'll send you a prize.
I'm very generous.
Yeah.
Talking of sending things in, it's just shocked my mind. I did have one of our listeners send me in, because I'm always on the look for clip of the podcast, just videos that have gone viral or not viral that are quite interesting. But I had, make sure it's the right guy. Yeah, Danny Calland. Danny obviously listens to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, Danny. He sent me this clip, and again, we'll overlay it for people who are watching. You hear of it before, but it's not actually his clip, so he's forwarded it on for somewhere else. So I'm actually going to say it's from Chunkster Fishing and Scarlet Fishing. It's basically, how would you struggle to catch in a place like this? It's you do hear of it before, but he's trying to catch a carp with his bare hands just by using bread. But it's harmless, by the way. It's not as if he's just like trying to like jab at them and that. But that's when you know you're onto an easy venue.
We hasn't done it yet.
Literally, hang on, let me just up a bit. But literally, you can dangle a bit of bread just on the surface, just with your hands there, whatever, and then you have God knows how many carp just coming up.
Oh wow!
Just like. But I think in situations like that, like,
I need to go places like that.
Yeah, you would.
He's caught more with his hands this year than I have with a rod.
Yeah. But you just think, you wouldn't stop surely you wouldn't stop catching them all day. Do you know what I mean?
It might be like that play. Remember we went down on that, we did like a road trip of a few kids' days, wasn't it, down to Gwinear angling.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? That was like that.
Fly fishing.
Oh yeah, we did stop and do. Did we?
No, we were catching them on the dry fly.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, that was like that. Anything that goes, we were catching bits of sausage and that sort of thing, weren't we?
Yeah. What?
That was fun. A good trip.
But yeah, no, just thanks for seeing that in. It was just obviously.
Yeah, haven't you got another? You did mention there's a nice perch you got sent.
Oh yeah. I think this.
So this is obviously a carp fishing podcast, but this got sent to me and Alf, and this young lad, because he's a young lad, we thought we deserved to give him a shout out and a well done, because he's caught a stonking great perch. Yeah.
So this was Luke Horton, and sorry Luke, I didn't message you back because Dan mentioned that you messaged him as well. But yeah, Mason Bates, Clawford Lakes in Devon, £5 perch on the method feeder.
Caught £5.
Yeah.
And he was really happy because it was on a dwarf rod, was it?
I
think he was on a dwarf rod, and that's why he wanted to send it in.
To him, yeah.
So yeah, well done, Mason.
That is actually
mental.
That's actually mental.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
huge perch.
That looks like £10 there to him.
So yeah, I thought I'd just give Mason his little 15 seconds of fame. Well done, lovely capture, mate. Keep them coming.
That is a good one, that.
Yeah, really good. Alfie's getting the pen. Clawford Lake. So yeah.
But yeah, that was it. Clips. I'd like it actually. You make my job easier when people send the clips in. So if anyone does see anything, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc., that's worth a little watch to our our viewers on the podcast, by all means throw them my way. I will try because I do bookmark a few, but when like they got to be something a little bit different, you can't have this screaming run, like it's just been done too many times.
Yeah. Bit of Agony Alf. Should we move on to a bit of Agony Alf?
Always. I'm here to help.
Again, thank you everyone to keep sending these in. Whoever I read out, I'll send out a little prize. As I said, I don't know if it was included in the beginning. We heard back from a couple of the lads who have read them out. They've got their prizes, so well done. And keep them coming. There's loads of good ones. I can't read them all out, but here's a couple for Alfie's simple little brain to answer. Let's go with a serious one first. This guy actually needs some genuine fishing advice, so help him out. This is from Tom. Hi, Agony Alf. I'm a self-proclaimed noddy and recently converted from a pleasure angler to a more focused carp angler. I currently have a dual rod setup and haven't yet made the jumps to a spod rod and wrap sticks. I have a young family, so fishing time is limited to a couple mornings to midday sessions a month. A couple of morning to midday sessions a month if I'm lucky. I'm currently fishing a club water closer into the margins as time isn't on my hands to be able to get there, led about for spots for a couple of hours. So yeah, he's fishing close in at the moment, doesn't want to disturb the water because of the length of his sessions. Currently a PB of £15, but that water does hold some high 20s and a couple of low 30s, so there is the chance to break that PB. Is there any advice you can give me to get through to the bigger fish on such a limited time scale? Or any advice for fishing closer into the margin without the aid of a wrap stick or to keep accurate?
Okay, a couple of things to consider there. I felt very self-aware of him to self-proclaimed noddy. It's quite humble of you.
Yeah, but also, don't put yourself down, mate.
This is what I mean. Yeah, 100%.
You fish those waters that you want to fish. You enjoy your fishing.
Yeah, so first part of that, fishing closer. So he's fishing the margins due to... because he doesn't have much time. He doesn't want to make this too much disturbance. Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from. But my first thing first, and bit of a cliche, but absolutely needed, is location. Like it doesn't matter how much time you got, you still need to spend some time looking for them. So whether that's not, if you fully believe they're in the margins, then fantastic. But if you have no indication that there's carp are in the margins, maybe it's time that you might create a little bit more disturbance, or you might have to cast a bit further. But if that's where the carp are, that's what you're going to have to do to get some bites. But let's say they are in the margins, for example, then it's in your favour. Everything's in your favour at this point because it's generally easier fishing. Baiting's accurate. To be able to bait is more accurate. Less need in the ability to cast. And what was the end of that? Could you just read what was the end of that question again?
The end of that was it was how to get through to the bigger fish and how to get through fish the margins without the aid of wrap sticks, but to be able to remain accurate.
To remain accurate. Okay, so when you say margins, I mean a lot of the time you can remain accurate just solely for the fact that it's really close in. In terms of the fact that getting through to the bigger fish, in my opinion, mate, you hear of on some lakes when you have a big carp that you might be able to know, it's got a little mouth. Do you know what I mean? Or things like that. So there's
some sort of characteristic where you can stack some odds in your favour, whether it's location, where it gets caught from, bait.
That type of thing.
Yeah, I get you.
I think you just got to play the numbers game. Don't expect each bite to be your new PB or the big one. But if you're catching them, play the numbers game. One of them will be, mate. They're all carp. They all eat food.
Agree.
Generally, as a rule of thumb, obviously there's a few things around that. But basically, just keep catching them. If you're on limited time, you don't want to just... There's not much you can do other than just play the numbers game.
Yeah.
And then in terms of your margin fishing, a lot of the time, and again, this depends on your lake. If it's just sort of you don't have to worry about weed, if there's like silt and presentation, etc. If you're trying to be accurate for the sake of your baiting being accurate, then it's just a case of casting out in the margin. And if you want to keep going to that spot, well, this is the thing, because like when you say margin, like I'm presuming you're almost placing it if you're actually margin fishing.
Or flicking up the margins, up the reeds.
Flicking it up the margins, up the reeds, then a set of wrap sticks, mate. You don't need, like, if you really wanted to do it really accurately, like you can just get a couple of bank sticks. Because if it is a 4 or 5 wrap cast down the margin into some reeds and you do want to keep really accurate with the bait, then yeah, just like use a couple of bank sticks, it's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, I think to be accurate and to fish to a clip, the fact that you haven't got wrap sticks shouldn't hold you back, because you can pick up a pair of wrap sticks, 15 quid, or like you say, a couple of bank sticks. Even if the bank access allows, you can walk the rig out and put, a stick or something in the ground. You can walk the rig out, clip up, do it that way. But yeah, if it is like a little underarm flick into a cove in the reeds or up against some lilies down the margin, to flick to that same area. And then if you've got a PVA bag on or something, so you've got a bit of bait round your rig or a method feeder or whatever, if you just keep doing it, then obviously that accuracy of being on the clip allows more and more bait to be presented accurately every time you're casting. The other thing I was going to say as well, if you are, within down the margin, I'd assume you're in catapult range. If you are putting a hook in a little bag on, or just pop a bit of rig foam on it, rig foam,
PVA nugget, rig foam, dissolving foam,
and then be ready for the. Do we need to stop him? I can hear him in my ears.
No, he should be right.
Should be right, yeah. If you nick a PVA nugget on your rig or pop it in the PVA bag as you cast out, that's going to pop up to the surface, be ready with a catapult, and then that's going to give you a visual marker of exactly where your rig is. So as soon as that hits the surface, bum, 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 you can catapult for your boilie, a bit of pellet, whatever you're baiting. If you can catapult that, and then that's going to be right around your rig.
Good advice.
And then you don't necessarily always need the clip, because you can, cast out to an area and make sure you're getting bait bang on that rig with a catapult using the sight marker. If you like.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, it's maybe need a little bit more context, but if we've covered it both ways there, because again, like you say, if you are casting up to like an overhang or some reeds or something, it's always better to undercast, put it in the clip. If you want to be more accurate, let a foot off and then cast again until you're really tight, etc.
The other thing I was going to say is just off the back of what you said, just because you don't have much time, you shouldn't be limited to the margins. As in, like, it's worth, fishing very much is building the picture. And if it's a club lake you're continually going down to, if you never actually explore it, you're never going to learn and get better. So you might invest, one of your sessions, morning till midday, doing a bit of leading work. I'm going to fish this session. I might not catch this session because I'm actually going to get into this swim and I'm going to have a little lead about, find some spots and fish those spots. But then where those spots are going forward. And like I say, if you've got wrap sticks, cheap as chips, pair of bank sticks if you don't want to buy any, then those spots are banked for the next time. So you can go into that swim, you see fish showing out in open water, you can get back to those spots with minimal disturbance now because you've done your legwork before.
Yeah.
So don't always think about exactly that session there and utilising that session, but how can you take something away every single session to make it not, to grow an experience as an angler yourself, but also improve your knowledge of the lake going forward.
100%. Very, very good point.
So let us know how you got on with them.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully that helped. Sorry, was it quite sort of long range? A few different takes on the answer to that, but hopefully there's something. But
we haven't actually touched on how do you get through. Oh, yeah, you did. How do you get through to the bigger fish?
Yeah, just play the numbers game. If you shorten time, like just bites, like
numbers game's the best game anyway because you catch loads.
You catch loads, exactly.
Next one. This is fun. I like this one. I've been a keen angler now for 20 years, and I prioritise it as my escape, whether I'm with the lads having a social or on my own enjoying the downtime. My partner has no background of camping or fishing or anything like that and hates the thought of fishing. Out of nowhere, she says her friend went fishing with her boyfriend and loved it, even though her friend is quite outdoorsy. Immediately, I started feeling a bit awkward because I see fishing as my escape from everyday life. But not to worry, I know she'll hate it and the world will be good again. I took her to a local fishery for 48 hours, hoping she'd have enough after 24 and want to go home. I began to get worried when I've seen her on the bank reading a book with a view of the lake. I'd never wished it rained more in my life. She wanted a small glass of wine and I told her you can't drink around the lake even though you could. Already he's lying to her. Can I have a glass of wine? No, banned. Sorry. This next line. I even hid the pillows in the car so she'd have a crap night's sleep. Long story short, I tried multiple things over the 2 nights to set the record straight and keep fishing as my fishing trips as being my time, not ours. But now I'm in a position where she often reminds me how much she loved being outdoors and she can't wait to make it a regular thing. Come on, lads, I need your help. If this goes out, then I need to be anonymous. Or by then, okay. Anonymous. Oh, that's a good one. That's a real tough one. And this, to be honest, this is what I wanted with the Agony Alf. Real life conundrums where you're in a pickle and now I've got Alfie here. Tell me what you're thinking, Alf. How are you tackling that situation?
The first thing is that really makes me laugh as well. It's like, you've had a go yourself.
Oh, he's proper had a go,
isn't he?
Had a
go, but like, you can turn it up a notch, yeah. Like if I'm thinking of, the first thing that comes to my head is like, my missus, I'd take her fishing, but I would be 1,000,000% sure of the fact that she would never want to go again.
Yeah.
One thing, mate, spiders.
Right.
So I don't know what your missus is like with spiders, but I reckon that could be your edge. Like if you're staying in a zipped up bivvy, you've got to pop down the local
pet shop and get a tarantula.
Surely there's medium-sized spiders.
What you want about? What you think pet shops sell spiders, as in like house spiders?
No, not house spiders, but it's got to be something between a. Actually, okay, maybe not like that, but collect some spiders. I don't want you got to put that in the pet shop. That's the first thing that comes into my head. You know, tarantulas are a bit excessive.
Yeah,
because that's just wicked and cruel. But a few of them. Like the thin ones, the ones with the small bodies and thin legs.
So you're saying collect some spiders.
Collect some spiders, but none of them little shitty ones. I'm talking about them ones that...
House spider, yeah.
The big fuckers that come out of nowhere every now and then that you just need to trap. The ones that like would freak me out. I'm not too bad with things like that, but the ones where like, and you just need to straight in the bed chair, mate. Straight in the sleep system. Make sure it's got a bit of food. No. Okay. Just make sure it's in the sleep system. I think
our man might be in a pickle here, because if this is all your advice you've got is find some spiders from a pet shop.
Yeah. Well, or other things you can do. Oh, and the other one, no shitters. Ladies
this is where I was
like
going.
A toilet, a portaloo, a push is a stretch for a lot of ladies. But if there isn't anything, because us blokes is in a bucket.
Yeah.
You know,
make a poo bucket.
Shower your poo bucket.
Yeah, I'll have a look at this.
Yeah, like we have to share. This is the one we've got to use.
Have you ever told that story?
What one?
About someone showing you.
Oh, this was years and years and years
Have
ago.
you ever said that? Do you want to say that?
I can do, yeah. Basically, someone...
It's funny if you tell her it is.
It's okay, this was years ago, so this was like...
You've got all shy.
No, I'm not. I was just thinking whether it had been published. You know what I mean?
We'll do it another time.
Okay, all right.
Or maybe later.
But it has been, it was published in an article.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Like who it was published like years ago, so it's safe. But anyway, save that one. Back to the
problem at hand.
Yeah, the toilet. I think the one thing that would stop my missus coming is spiders, but just generally bugs in general, and lack of toilets. Like portaloos are, especially in this heat, it's not a nice place to be, is it? So your advice is you're on the right lines, mate. Just every time she comes, you just got to up it a notch until she hits breaking point. I mean, the fact that you say no wine, that I would have left. If you said no wine, I would have been. I'm not. So you could be like, here again. Sorry, love, under the stars tonight. But it's raining. We're under the stars tonight, and then you just got could be that. For me, it depends how much you want it. How much do you love your fishing, and what's it worth? As in, is it worth the Barney? And if it is, if the thought of having the Barney, going fishing on your own blissful peace could be too blissful and peaceful, does that outweigh the Barney that you could have by just telling her, I don't fucking want you there? It's just black and white. I'm very much an advocate of honesty is the best policy. And you say to her, love, I've really enjoyed our time fishing. Maybe once a year we'll book somewhere like a Butlins or one of those places with a lodge and a hot tub, and you have the rods out and you treat it some wine, and great, treat it as a holiday. But you could say, like, let's do this once a year, but I need my fishing for me, for my downtime. You tell her you need it for my downtime, need it for my alone time. She might not understand, but this is what I mean. If she doesn't understand, but
does that outweigh, and she has a bit of a go at you, does that outweigh the thought of, well, I'm going to lose my fishing here? That's what I'd go with, honesty. Treat her once a year to a nice one. And to be fair, in fact, that's a touch, because you could turn your yearly holiday into a fishing one here.
Yeah. When you do, like you say.
I mean, that's a trip. That's an extra trip. So that could be good.
I mean, I really want to hear about.
Or you could
Anonymous.
do both. Treat her to a trip and then just prank her, spiders, shit in a bucket, show her your shit, as Alf was suggesting.
I really want to know what you go for. If you take any of our advice, I'd be really interested.
I think do this. Whatever your name is, anonymous. Let's call him Neil. Neil, if this, I think you should try Alfie's advice first, because that's definitely funnier in my eyes. And if it still doesn't work, go down the safer, well, not safer route, but the less catastrophic route of just talking to her about it. But definitely try Alfie's one first, of like trying to find the limit. Maybe take a couple of sessions, but find the limit. Because
it's not your fault. As long as you disguise it well enough, as long as you're not, she doesn't catch you putting spiders in her sleeping bag.
Yeah.
You're in the clear. They've crawled in there by themselves.
Another one could
Ants nest.
Go to mad runs water. I'm talking 20 in a night, and just stick that receiver next to her head.
Yeah.
Just all night.
Yeah.
Wee. I can't get to sleep. I'm not doing this. Could be one. So yeah, let me know what you come up with. Listeners, comment on the video below if you watch on YouTube. Give us your ideas for old Neil here.
Yeah, that's
to do to his missus. What little pranks can he do
just to put her off without him being
to get rid of her? Needy bitch.
Let's hope she's not. She could be that much into fishing now.
She might be listening. But she doesn't know Neil. I've kept him anonymous.
She's on the big pit, mate. They've swapped roles.
Yeah. Tone, what are we doing for time?
You're at just over an hour, to be fair.
You're right, Tone. Quiet, sitting on his phone again.
I was just on Facebook, to be honest,
We've got an announcement tonight.
Yeah. Our beloved podcast host.
Tony's leaving us, man.
2 episodes and I'm gone.
Yeah. Is this what it is? You've joined the podcast and gone, this is crap.
You didn't give me a camera, so what was the point? I just sat here on my own.
Yeah, Tone's leaving, Nash. How long you been here, Tone?
I think it's about 6 years.
6 years.
6 years, I believe.
Yeah. You came, you went, COVID hit, you come back, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. 2-timer.
See you in a year?
What does Dean call me? Boomerang.
Huh?
Boomerang,
yeah. Think you'll do it again, boomerang back, or is this you're done with fishing, you're out into the big wide world now?
Boomerang's broke, I think
so. Well, it's been a bloody pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for everything.
Very nice, thank you very much.
I mean, you've got a few more weeks yet, so we'll have a proper send-off.
Might have one more podcast before that, to be fair.
Yeah, true, but thought I'd announce it.
Yeah, thank you.
Tone's job's up for replacement if anyone wants to apply.
And we're going out next Tuesday, so you know.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah. I thought you put out there as an open invite,
Yeah, open invite. Everyone's coming. Tony's leaving, people. Get down here.
Oh, we'll have fun.
Anything else you want to do? I was going to talk about Nash Days France quickly if we've hit the hour.
Yeah, you can do.
We've got something called Nash Days France. It's not something we do in the UK. It's what our French team do.
Oui.
Didn't know you spoke the lingo. It's a really good concept. Maybe something we bring into the UK at some point. So it'd be great to hear your thoughts and if it's something you'd like to attend. But Nash Days France essentially is a mini carp festival. It started small. It's getting bigger and bigger. This year, they're expected to have 2,000 people attend. There's a bivvy city. There's a casting section where you can come and try all the rods and cast. And I think Jermaine will be there to do the casting. There's like the bait tent. So you can come in and there'll be people doing bait demos. So it's like a bit like a show, but a bit more interactive where, Alan's there, he's fishing, he takes kids out in the boat with him, shows them the spot, not just kids, but anyone out, shows them the spots he's looking for, shows them the rigs he's using for those spots, give them a bit of a 10-minute tutorial, catch a fish, And then there's food vans there. There's, I think there's going to be stands from like Monkey Climber, Low Rants are going to be there. So a few more European brands will be.
Mini carp festival.
Yeah, like a little carp festival. And then in the evening, there's entertainment. So they have music.
Drums? Drums and basses?
There'll be drums and basses. But yeah, I think they've got like a band on and then some drum and bass, and a bit of a party until into the evening. But you can, these 2,000 people, that you can be there for the weekend. There's plenty to do, plenty to see, plenty to talk about. I think Blair's also doing like rig demos with presentations with big cameras on and that sort of thing on him on big screens. So loads to do, and it's always every year we try and go a bit bigger and better. Really cool concept, but it is open to everyone. There is still spaces. If anyone fancied a road trip to France, stop, fish along the way and then come, it's free to attend. You just have to book online. Tony's going to put the website up because I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's like nashdays.co.uk or something like that. You just need to sign up. It's free to attend, but you have to have a pass, a QR code pass to get there. So if you do go, do you know what? That sounds like a good crack. You going this year? I'm going. It's the first time I'm going.
I'm actually at a classical music concert.
Loser. So Alfie won't be there. But there'll be loads of Nash lads from the UK as well. And I think what we'd like to do, instead of it being a France one, going forward, it'd be great to just have Nash days and have people from all over Europe come to attend and make it bigger and better each year with more things to do, more things to see, more people to meet. Maybe even chance to go fishing yourself and you have a swim, but I don't know. But yeah, it's the offers there. If anyone fancies that in the UK,
not far from Calais.
It's not far. It's only an hour and a half.
Couple of hours tops. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm going out there next week. I'm actually going out on the Thursday. I think me and Al are going to go stop and do a night's fishing, which I haven't actually been fishing with Al in away from a film. Maybe ever. I honestly can't think the last time me and him just went fishing and had a good catch up and a barbecue and whatnot. So yeah, we're going to go out a day early and chew the fat, go fishing, which will be fun. And then on to Nash Days France. Looking forward to next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good do. Yeah. I've been to one.
Yeah.
Yeah, good do.
That's the one where you went to get Alan in the morning. And didn't he wake up the wrong way around in his sleep system?
Yeah, you just jogged my memory then. Yeah,
I remember you going up saying, how was your night? And he was like, I woke up, my head in the foot end.
Yeah, his head was in the foot end of his sleep system. So, it's just all those drum and bass just fries your brain.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the whole drink.
But there was, if they got that, I just remember the burger stand there was one of the best burgers I've ever had in my life. Could be a different supplier, but if they're keeping it up to the standard of what it was a couple of years ago.
All horse meat, ain't France in it?
God, I don't care if it tastes like that. Yeah, it can be what it wants.
Right, is that us then?
That's us, Dan. We've got another meeting now, haven't we? In 15 minutes.
Fantastic. Good time to wrap up.
Perfect.
Thank you for listening, people.
Thank you for all the nice comments, especially on the last one. It's been actually,
Thank you for your input, your funny stories, your Agony Alfs. Love it. Love the interaction. So, we'll see you next time.
See ya.